Okay, just a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Cool, my name's Rowena. I'm a mother of 5. I have 7 mokopuna, but we're a blended whānau, so we've got 10 kids
Oh, yeah.
and 26 mokos. Yeah, and that's pretty much a full-time mum, full-time nanny, and my own mahi.
Fuck,
Yeah.
yeah. And what makes you want to share your story with us tonight?
I would like to share my experience, my truth of whānau affected from meth. I'm still in recovery. I still feel like I've still got a lot to learn as well. Where did my journey with addiction start? For me, I think I was around addiction most of my life.
Wow.
Not as a child. Well, I could say a child because I had a stepdad that was a drinker. I wouldn't say he was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
He enjoyed having a beer. Nothing bad. It wasn't physical stuff, or it was just a little bit verbal at times.
Yeah.
So I've seen a bit of drinking. Never got taken to parties and all that sort of stuff. So that was a good thing. Then I got older, and sort of because I was sort of the only child at home at the time, I was number 6, and there was a gap of 8 years between me and my sister above, and then there was 5 years between me and
Whoa, you really were the middle
yeah,
child.
yeah, 2 below me. So I was sort of stuck to mum.
Yeah.
Mum was mine, and then my stepdad came along and stole her. But I had a good growing up. Apart from when mum was happy with me, her and dad parted. So I don't know if that was the beginning of something that would probably affect me later on in life.
Yeah.
And obviously growing up as an individual with 2 little ones, I don't know, I sort of felt like, not that I didn't feel like I belonged in the whānau, but I was just at an age, a curious age, coming into my teenage years, and just kicking it with the wrong crowd, I suppose. Oh, I can't even say wrong crowd, because back then they were friends. They related to me.
Yeah.
Started drinking, started smoking weed, started popping pills, and that was at the age of about 12, 13. I left home. Just around that environment of friends, wanted to grow up too fast. And, back in the day, it was like, if you don't want to abide by our rules under our roof, see you later. And, you've got to respect that.
Yeah.
So off I went on my journey. And, I didn't look at that type of stuff being a start or a part of an addiction that would carry on through to another journey. You end up picking up other stuff. I'm just thankful I never picked up meth.
Yeah.
And just being a young mum. I was a young mum at 15. I was running a house by 16. Around the club life, just seen a lot of drinking, a lot of violence, lost babies. A lot had happened in my life. But, where does that take me to today? My relationship, well, I wouldn't say with my ex-partner, it's with meth, really. Started 18 years ago, and I think for me, back in the early 2000s, the devil couldn't be contained any longer. By 2004, when I was happy with my 18-year-old now, it all came out with my ex-partner. But he had been hiding it for about 8 years.
Fucking hell.
About 8 years he hid it from me. And
you had no inkling?
No inkling. Because he was a hustler and wheeling and dealing with cars, and he was a social guy anyway. So,
it wasn't really out of his
no,
characteristics.
it wasn't. It wasn't. So, for him to, when baby was about 6 months, he just flipped, and that was just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, who are you? And it just went from, having a home, 4 beautiful kids, both awesome jobs, to next minute my world's upside down, just in the blink of an eye. So, yeah, my baby was 6 months, and then from then on, about a whole year, it started with him dropping off, not going to work, staying out late, from 1 night to 2 nights to a whole week to weeks.
Fucking hell.
And I'm at home with these kids thinking, what the fuck is he, is he having an affair? Because that's what I thought.
Yeah,
it was a fucking
fuck you
affair.
would.
Who the fuck are you saying?
Yeah.
And it was, I started isolating myself because I sort of started getting little inklings like, fuck, I've asked you before if you're taking meth and you've said no. So, I'm going to believe you. They're pretty good at convincing you that, they're with their lying. And so I just carried on as normal, but, it was when he wasn't coming home and all that sort of shit, I thought, no, fuck, something's going on. And I'm home alone with these kids. The phone's going to get cut off. The power's going to get cut off. Fuck, I can't even pay the rent. I left my job because I didn't, I was just so worried about what was happening with my life, because I was so worried about where he was. And, sorry, fuck.
Fuck you, you wouldn't be able to fucking focus.
I just couldn't function, but I'm thankful that I had a baby that I could focus on, and, that I still had to look after and kids to feed, and I still had to be their mum. I had to be strong for them. And then I just couldn't pay the rent anymore, so we had to give the house up, and we moved in with people, and I was just feeling like so degraded, like, where the fuck did this all come? All our life of building up our whānau and everything, to now we're fucking living with people.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Must be like you worked too hard for this to be the result.
Yeah, it just wasn't right. It wasn't right. It just didn't seem. It was just surreal of what was happening. It was like my whole life was just flashing past me, thinking, fuck, no, this isn't right. I'm in a bad dream right now. We can't give up all of this. We've worked too fucking hard for it.
Yeah.
And it just got worse and worse. When he did come around, we'd end up fighting. There was domestic violence. There was a lot of fucking scrapping and just really unhealthy, toxic environment. And it got to a stage, I wouldn't sleep. I'd be up just drinking coffee all night, smoking, because I was waiting for him, because I loved him. The love of my life. I'll fight for you. I'll do anything to get you back. And my turning point was one night we had a really big fight, and I jumped in my car and I tried to run him over, and I fucking ended up crashing the car and bent my chassis and all that shit. And then about a couple of days later, I rang my sister and I said, no, I need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I said, because
fucking turning you evil.
It was.
Aye.
It had sucked the living daylights out of me. I hated everyone. I didn't care if you were whānau, friends that touched that shit. I was just fucking anti it. I hated everyone that used it. And yeah, I rang my sister and I just fucking said, I need some money to fix my car. I need to get out of here, so I'm going to end up dead. Or I'm going to end up hurting someone. So I got my car all fixed up, packed up, and I headed south. And the reason being, I wanted to get off the same island as him, because they're good at coming back and forwards, and I just didn't want to, let him do that to me, because it just turned out, I'd had hope he's home. you know, and then, next minute have a sleep, get up, have a kai, have a shower, and then go on again, you know, and it was just not good for my kids. But, you know, the thing is, other than not just that, it was, I felt selfish because I was worrying about the kid's dad, that I was forgetting about what my kids were going through. You know, how were they feeling? But I was too consumed in worrying about him. I'm trying to win their dad back. So, you know, my big girl was drinking and all that type of stuff. But I got my car fixed, packed them up. We headed to Nelson. Went down there by some sisters, and one sister was terrible. Only because she didn't understand what we had been through. And back then, you know, in the early 2000s, no one really knew anything about it. Even my doctor. Well, I know, you know, the doctors. When I tried to reach out, you know, I wanted some pills, man. I didn't want to feel this hurt anymore. I wanted to be numb because it was too heartbreaking. But he declined me, which I'm thankful for now.
I was gonna say, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'm really thankful that he said, no, Rowena, it's bad enough having one parent on drugs, we can't have two. You know, and I just thank him for, you know, doing that. So yeah, we headed down south, and you know, that wasn't easy. You know, you're with whānau and hoping that they'll support you in an emotional way, but because they don't understand, it's a tad harder. So it didn't work out with, you know, I just worked hard by looking for us a whare so we could get out on our own, and ended up going on a domestic violence course. We had a lovely whānau friend that asked if I'd like to go to this domestic violence wahine course, and at that stage I didn't trust anyone.
Yeah.
Because of what I'd been through. I didn't care. I didn't want to talk to no one. You know, you don't know what I'm going through. And for some reason I went that day, and she came to tautoko me, and it was probably the best thing that I had ever done by going to the marae. It was running whakatū marae. I don't know if it was because it was in the marae. I don't know. But for some reason it felt like, people probably go, oh, here we go, but I felt like I had my tupuna come up through my feet and push all my mom that day.
Aye.
And I felt like it just let me release a lot of my. And from that day on, I just started getting better and better. Stronger. And I had to. I still got kids to bloody look after and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, at the end, when we graduated after the 18-week course, one of the tutors actually said, oh my God, Rowena, you're a new person, you know. I said, no, this is who I was before you met me. Who you met at the beginning, that wasn't me. So, yeah, days got better. I got a job and started looking after the kids. We were just happy, you know. I was at a space because way back, you know how they say, oh, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Well, I couldn't fucking see any light at the tunnel. You know, I used to say, oh, you're full of shit. But honestly, there is. You've just got to, you know, let your guard down a little bit. And, you know, if someone is there to honestly, genuinely help you, let them help you.
Yeah.
So just getting through that struggle. But, you know, from then, what we've been through from moving back to the North Island 16 years ago, it's been hard. It's been really, really hard, because other than my going through it with my ex-partner, you know, our kids picked up meth.
Fuck.
And yeah, back then
how was that finding out for the first time?
Oh shit, I was just like, no, this can't happen. You know, you fellas have seen me go through this with your dad, and now we're going to do it again. You know, I just felt like I was getting ripped to bits again. But because I wasn't educated, I didn't know, you know, back then that they were hurting. They were hurting from what they had been through, and me and their dad separating, you know. So it's been a bloody journey. watching your own children deteriorate from methamphetamine. It's just been...
Does it feel like you're sitting on the sidelines?
Yeah, looking in, watching them. And it's just been so heartbreaking, you know, to see that happen to our kids. You know, now it's going down a generation to our kids, our babies now. Yeah, I just had a flashback of, a lot of stuff that we had been brought into our whare again, you know. All that bad toxic energy was coming back into our whare around our girls. Our girls were only babies then. A vicious cycle coming back around.
Yeah.
But then I'm thankful for having my partner who had also been through the same situation I had, because I don't think if I had a partner that understood what I had been through, I don't think I would have made it.
Yeah.
I think if it was just some, you know, John Doe, he would have packed up his bags and hightailed out of town.
Catch you up, bitch.
Yeah, I'm out. So having that solid support has really helped immensely. But, you know, in regards to the kids with what they were going through, you know, we tried a lot. We tried to help because we still weren't educated about how to deal with people on methamphetamine. It was a struggle, tug of war, you know, tug of war. Come on, man. Come on, we've got to get better. Which leads us on to another stage of getting better. We got to a space where we identified what was going on. Still not knowing, having those tools, enough tools. We were just trying to calm a situation and being able to talk to our kids on a level of understanding of what they were going through and what we had already been through and how can we support that way.
And what did it take for you to get to that point?
Oh, God. Lots of yelling and screaming and just frustration, fights and arguments but also love. I still had to show my love for my children as much as I wanted to throttle them. You know, I had to still hug them and squeeze them so hard and tell them I love yous, come on, we can do this. Sorry, I just keep getting bloody flashbacks about those times. When it starts hitting your kids, something's got to change. Something definitely
was
has
there
to change.
Do you feel like there was a little bit of resentment going back and seeing what the kids had witnessed, and could that be a contributing factor to the decisions they were now making?
Yeah, I think it was, but I had to step back. You know, I had to step back and see what they were seeing or see what they had seen for me to understand why they had started drinking more, smoking weed, and now picking the pipe up and all that stuff. But, you know, but on my other side of my brain, I'm going, fuck, you've seen me go through this before. Why are we doing this again? You know, still not understanding the full intensity of what methamphetamine was against alcohol and marijuana. So
because there's a big difference.
Huge difference. Yeah, huge difference. So we managed to get it at a nice stage. By that time, my big girl had her first boy and stuff like that, and she was close with her dad. She was a real daddy's girl, and my boy, he was the same, close. Sorry, I've just gone a bit blank. Sorry, whānau.
You're right.
I just find it a tad hard sort of going back on my past.
Hard out.
And then having to sort of relive it and try and put myself back in there so I can dissect it and speak to you about it.
What did you do as a mum now your children have decided to pick it up? What do you do?
Well, I was fortunate enough to come across a movement that was created in Puriro by two lovely friends. I'd seen it on Facebook and all that sort of stuff, and sort of, had a nose in. I thought, oh shit, the next day I have off mahi, I'll go, So I called into our local walk-in to see what it was all about, and it was to support whānau affected by meth, and I thought, oh hey, I like this, I'm sitting at a table with whānau that are sharing their stories, sharing their experiences. I relate to this, I really, I didn't realise that there's so many of us, because sometimes when you're in that situation, you do think it's only you, because you don't want to go and be hōhā to people, because they might not know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Or,
You
so,
don't want to open up in case they might judge you, or they don't know how to respond because they haven't been in your shoes.
Yeah, so you tend to try and do it on your own. So to sit at a table with other whānau that were affected, or, it was just amazing. And I thought, wow, I like this.
This is my tribe.
Yeah, this is my tribe, this is my pack. And from that day on, I started getting educated, learning why our loved ones pick up the pipe. It's like a lot of there's a lot of addictions, around drugs, but meth takes you to another level, eh?
Yeah.
And just to understand about general addiction first. I really got it. I really could see where my kids were coming from. They were hurt. They were hurting underneath all of that, real bad.
Yeah.
And how the tools that were handed to me at this table could help me learn to understand and teach me how to love again. Because I sort of feel like we do love our kids, but sometimes it's not the love that our loved ones are searching for. And when I talk about love, it's like loving them without judgment.
Yeah.
When they come round to visit, stop saying to them, oh, look at you, you look like shit. Have you had a sleep? Have you had a coke? Oh,
Yeah.
Because that's negative, and they don't want to hear that stuff. That's what disconnects them.
Yeah, they'll stop fucking coming around otherwise.
So I had to learn how to change my behaviours too. There's no
point. The narrative.
Yeah, and how I speak. I've got to be. I had to be careful how I spoke to them, because I want to see my kids. I don't want to fight. Because that's what it used to be like. Oh, look at you, you haven't seen your kids, blah blah blah.
See, and like even when I think back to me, I stopped going around to my parents.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, fuck, they really make me feel like I am a fucking druggie.
Yeah.
And so I stopped going, but then what would happen is they wouldn't hear from me for months when they go through the whole thing of, fuck, is she fucking alive? And all of that. And that's not what you want to do.
No, you want to reconnect to whānau. But,
so you at least know they're alive.
Well, yeah.
Regular visits.
Yeah, I used to be scared, like, am I going to get a knock at the door? That your child is... something's happened to them. So it was great tools for us whānau to learn how to deal with our loved ones on methamphetamine. So I thought that was amazing.
What was that group?
New Zealand people.
Yeah.
And got their top on, our top. Don't mess around, guys.
Yeah.
Don't mess around. So that was back in 2017, when I have first started going to New Zealand people. And then not long after that, we had 2 mokos come into our full-time care due to my girls using. And the kids were 7 and 14 months then. That was wow.
Yeah.
Had to change our whole life. everything, back to being parents.
Full time.
Full
How old
time.
were they?
7 and 14 months.
Oh yeah.
Even though, you know, we'd always had the kids on the weekend, but now, man, they're with us full time. Like, shit, you know, I've got bottles to make, and, you know, it was a hard thing to take in.
Transition,
Yeah, transition back to being a mother again. It was just like, whoa, what's going on? But, you know, that's what it was. You know, we're going to take care of these kids.
Yeah.
You know.
Because the other thing is that they go to other families that they don't even know, eh?
Exactly. So, you know, I'm there. I'm going to put my hand up to it. Yeah, I'm taking my muckles because I'm not prepared to let any other people take them. Even though we have to change our whole life. Well, so be it, you know. That was July. Actually, it'll be 5 years on July the 17th that we took on the 2 boys then. And then by February 2018, number 3 muckle came, and I brought him home from hospital. I actually slept in the hospital in the maternity ward on the second night because my girl, Mum, I've got to go and get stuff. And that was it. I'm lying in the bedroom with this baby.
Wow.
Going, what the fuck? Yeah. And he's 4 now. He's the apple of his cuddle's eye. And but back then, you know, before I brought him home that day, the doctors had wanted to do a brain scan on him because they knew that he'd been exposed to methamphetamine in the womb, and that wasn't very nice to watch. Oh, my mate, his cuddle, was, you know, questioning the doctors. What are you doing? What are you looking for? You know, and being told, oh, we don't know what we're actually looking for. And he's like, hey, and I'm like, oh, calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down, you know. But, you know, if it's something that was a worry, you know, because there might have been something, I don't know. But he's absolutely fine. Cool. But having to go through all that sort of stuff, and, you know, when you're agreeing to that sort of thing, it's just quite overwhelming. Like, what the fuck? Because, you know, my own kids, I never went through this type of stuff. So to see it with your muckles, it's like, oh my God, you know, like, this can't be happening. So that was February 2018. And then number 4 came along in May 2019. Wow. At that time, my girl had just come out of rehab, and we found out she was hapu in rehab. She asked to come home to nest before she had baby. Yep, cool. She had baby May of 2019, and then because she was on bracelet, she ended up breaking the rules. We knew she had picked up again, and baby was 7 weeks old, and we just asked her to leave. We just could no longer have her at our whare. That wasn't very nice. She wanted to take baby, so there were struggles over baby and all that type of stuff. But number 4, she is 3 now. So yeah, we've had our muckles. The older one's over in Aussie. He's been in Aussie with my older boy for the last nearly 3 years. We get asked why did we send him there, and I said I sent him there for a change.
Yeah.
And it was just sad to watch him waiting for his mum.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were so tight, and too many broken promises. You know, he'd come home from school and just wait for her. Instead of going out and doing what a kid's supposed to be doing. He'd be waiting for her, so we made the
That'll be
decision.
heartbreaking to watch.
It is, it was horrible. It was horrible to watch. And yeah, he's been there nearly 3 years and he's thriving. He loves it. He's with his other cousins, and I miss him and his siblings. You know, we always video call him. But, you know, over the nearly 5 years that we've had the muckles, that's been challenging as well, because our 6-year-old now, who was 14 months at the time, when he hit 18 months, it was almost like a light switch. He just changed into this different child, and I didn't know what the hell was going on, meltdowns, and I sort of put it down to that separation from mum.
Yeah.
Then me and my man started jotting stuff down, like trying to assess it ourselves rather than, ring up the doctors and all that stuff, because I didn't want our muku to be labelled to, oh yeah, he's got autism or he's got ADHD. Well, that could be a possibility, but we wanted to try and find out other things rather than just directing it to being autistic or ADHD. So we done a lot of searching on Google, and we put it down to separated from his mum, exposed to meth in the womb, DNA. Is it in his DNA?
Yeah.
And so we had to try and rule out things before we decided to go and see the doctor.
Clinical
Clinician.
diagnosis.
Yeah. And he's sort of borderline. He hasn't been diagnosed as autistic, but he has very heavy traits of autism. And I think it just comes down to a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
See, the first two kids, they got that opportunity to bond with mum. As with number 3, he didn't, because he came home straight with us. Number 4, she did get to bond with mum. So it's quite funny, if mum does come around, the 3 muckles we got at home, the 6-year-old and the 3-year-old will run to mum, and our 4-year-old will stand back. He knows it's his mum, but he hasn't got that connection with her.
That bond,
Yeah. She's even said to me, he doesn't feel like he's my mum. I said, oh, he is. I'll keep reminding you. I'll never take that away from you.
Yeah.
He is our baby, but you're his mother. So it's been a journey, because we had to take our focus off what we'd been through with our ex-partners. We had to take our focus off our kids.
Yeah.
Because we had learnt, let them be, because we've got muckles to concentrate on.
Wow.
We have to look after them. We have to help them get better, so when they get to their teenage years, that they'll still have effects, but I'm hoping that they won't have full effects.
Yeah.
Of, if we can give them the tools now to help them now, rather than get to teenage years and then it's all on.
Yeah, and then it's all on.
Yeah.
It's there was someone that asked, do you think if the father stayed in your children's lives that they may not have picked up the pipe?
Ooh. Depends if he was still using, or if he wasn't. No, I don't think they would have. Well, I don't know. That's a hard one. I'm gonna say no, because we were happy whānau, and if their dad wasn't puffing on the pipe, I don't think our kids would have. We were in a good space. My big girl, she was at St. Joe's. Then we were. So I don't think so. Is that all right?
Yeah. How do you know the signs of addiction?
Oh, shit. There's all types, really. Like I said, I've been around addiction. I've been in hospital for over 27 years. I've been dealing with pokey players. I've been dealing with TAB puntings. I've seen all different types of behaviours around addiction. First, it's like they isolate themselves, so people don't know what they're up to, really. Money, your bank accounts. Because if you see what we used to pull out of pokie machines, man, you'd be so disgusted on what comes out. But when you are in a job like that, where you're dealing with those types of addictions, how do we identify and approach that person? Because you have to be very careful how you do it, because I wouldn't like someone approaching me and saying, oh, are you all right? I've just noticed that you've been in here 7 days of the week, you know, on those in the poke hearings or at the TAB, or, you know, same with you know, drugs. I see you going over to that house a lot, bro, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just you'll know. You'll know in yourself.
Even what Hoppy was saying before, like addiction is when you can no longer hide it, and it's no longer the normal.
Yeah, yeah. They just can't contain it anymore.
When you are doing fucked up shit to get it.
Yeah.
You know, like when you feel like, fuck, I need it.
Yeah.
It's not just something that, if it's there, it's there.
Yeah.
If it's not, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I need it to be there. Then you like, shit, I got a fucking problem.
Yeah.
And willing to rob your nan, you know, rob anyone or whatever to get it. Hey.
It is. It's,
lie to your people.
Yeah, you'll lie to anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll lie to your mum, your dad, everyone, you know, but it's up to you to be able to educate yourself to identify an addiction, you know. Hence to why, you know, I've learnt a lot. I've learnt heaps from Hop about, you know, an ex-user, and he'll be the same with, you know, whānau affected. We bounce off each other. We teach each other how to deal with either. Yeah, I mean, we've all got some type of addiction, you know. It could be shopping, it could be, you know,
food,
sex, porn, food, you know, and that's how we explain it to whānau, so they get a bit better understanding of addiction. Else they're too focused on, you know, meth, the pipe, crackheads, blah, blah, blah. You know, oh, hold on, I see you've got a cigarette in your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, that's an addiction.
I think what people, because I think the same thing, but what people is like, but I'm not robbing my fucking grandmother to get my ciggies. Yeah. You know, that's how they distinguish that fine line in the sand there.
Yeah. But even when whānau, they do, you know, name, because of all those horrible words, I go, well, hold on, you know, you might want to look in your medicine cupboard and really look and read up on what's in those painkillers you're taking, you know, and all that sort of stuff. Same with pain. If you're going to take painkillers to numb that pain and you really need it, you know.
See, some people take those drugs to numb that physical pain, and some the psychological.
Exactly, yeah. Some people get addicted to it and they need it. I need that because I don't want my leg to be sore today. So I'm going to take those pills.
Yeah, and see, for me was I need it because I don't want to feel the grief and the fucking loss today.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that was like me, you know, picking up stuff that I had done. It was numbing stuff that had happened in my life, you know. It's just lucky that for a lot of us, well, you know, you can get off it.
Yeah.
If you really want to, if you've had enough of it. And just supporting whānau. It's for me, probably in the last 6 months, I've come across a lot of whānau saying, oh, it's really bad up here, the meth, it's bad.
Yeah, harder.
It's bad everywhere. And I had to sort of think about it. And this is just my personal thoughts on it, whānau. Whānau, we're part of that problem, because if you don't want to learn to understand what our loved ones are going through, it's not going to get any better. We're all about reconnecting. We can't keep pushing our whānau away, calling them this and that, and this is all your fault, because it's just making them go further away.
Yeah.
We need to understand, learn to love them again. And you'll have whānau going, oh, but, you know, well, if they didn't do that, we wouldn't be in this situation. We've got to look past all of that, you know, because sometimes a bad situation can actually be good, because it'll bring up stuff that you need to
get off yours,
heal from. I've learnt so much. Oh, actually, there's stuff that I need to sort out for myself. And for my girl, I miss her. I love her. I haven't seen or heard from her in about 3 months.
Fuck.
Yeah, I know she's okay. And as with before, if I hadn't heard from her, I'll be going, where are you? Where the fuck are you? You haven't been to see these fucking kids and da da da. But now I've learnt just to leave her. She'll come. She'll come when she's ready.
Mean, man.
But, yeah.
How have you managed to organise your time? It must get overwhelming with all your moko.
Well, Sergeant Major. Yeah. You have to plan well. You have to really plan well. We just sat down one day and we just wrote down, right, this is our plan. This is what we're going to do. We had to plan out how things were going to run in our whare. You know, we still got two girls to look after. We've got these babies to look after. We've both got mahi. How's this going to work? How are we going to do this? We don't have close whānau to support us. Love daycare, love it. You know, that's our respite. And everyone goes, oh, that costs too much. I don't give a shit. My sanity,
worth more.
Yeah, worth more. So my general day during the week is I'm up at 6. I have coffee with my man before he goes to mahi. I'm straight in the shower. Kids start waking up, dress them, feed them, clean up, beds made, lunch is done, boom, we're out the door.
Wow.
And that is every morning, Monday to Friday. Weekends aren't just as bad, you know, because we can't just go, oh, it's the weekends. We're still got to get up.
Yeah.
It's the continuous routine, and you have to learn to stay ahead, you know. If you don't, that's where it just all fucking turns to shit. But, you know, it's been even though it's been challenging, it's been a fucking awesome learning journey.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff, you know, you think you're a parent and you know everything. Well, you know, you don't. And there's a lot of things that I've learnt that I may have missed out on my own children. I appreciate the not so good things that have happened in our life or our journey has turned me into a completely different person, and I look at the world so different now.
See, and if anything along that journey had changed just in the slightest, the outcome of where you are today and who you are today would have fucking changed.
Yeah.
So everything had to happen the way that it's happened.
Exactly, and it shaped me. You know, even though the stuff that I got caught up in, that's helped. That was giving me tools right back then. It's just that I wasn't utilising them, but then I was ready to pull them out when I was ready for them. Yeah.
See, and the grandchildren, man, wait till they're older. They're going to remember everything you've done.
They bloody better.
They hard out. Well, one more question. How do you get somebody help? How could people help their loved ones or their whānau?
I think for me, just on my own experience, without judgment, just listen, you know, this is what we were born with, you know, and I think in this day and age, we've got to learn to listen more. Whether it's going to be good or not so good, we're going to hear from this person, because if they're reaching out for help, we have to be there for them, no matter what, you know, and they appreciate that. They appreciate the fact you're going to sit there and listen to them without judgment. Yeah. That's what I've always looked at now that I know how to deal with whānau that reach out, and also whānau reach out. You know, I know it can be a pride thing, or you're ashamed or scared. Reach out. You know, there is someone out there that will just grab you and pull you in. Yeah.
I don't mean, Rose, is there anything else you want to share?
Just take care out there, whānau. You know, we've got so much out there. We've got life to live, you know, and regardless of all the shit thrown at us on our journeys, we'll get over it. We will get through it. Yeah.
Not me, Ray. You know we love you.
Oh, thank you.
We wish you and the whānau nothing but the best for your future.
Thank you.